watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now at 9. I'm Susan Tran. DC News Now is your local election headquarters, and happening tomorrow in Maryland, President Biden and Vice President Harris, they are set to speak in Prince George's County, a visit that is quite a significant one. It is going to be their first appearance together since Biden dropped out of the race. DC News Now's Marielle Carbone is following this story, and Marielle, this is a much anticipated visit.
Yeah, Susan, it really is, and that is not only because Biden and Harris will appear together, but because their remarks will be focused on the economy, a theme that's being discussed on both sides of the presidential campaign trail this week. In their first visit together since Biden bowed out of the 2024 race, the president and Vice President Kamala Harris will speak in Prince George's County Thursday.
It gives us hope for one thing, and it's good to see, of course, that they're working collaboratively.
For local Wanda Grant, seeing Harris, the now Democratic presidential nominee, in person is an opportunity she can't pass up.
So I will be there. I got my invitation.
Others agree.
I think it's exciting that she's coming here, close to home. Makes it good for me.
Biden and Harris are expected to discuss the progress they've made in lowering costs for the American people. The visit coming as inflation drops to its lowest level in more than 3 years. Meanwhile, the economy is expected to be a major topic on the presidential campaign trail this week.
Under Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden, the American dream is dead.
Former President Donald Trump touting his economic plans during a campaign stop in Florida Wednesday.
We will rapidly drive prices down and make America affordable again.
Unlike Donald Trump, I will always, I promise you, put the middle class and working families first.
Harris will lay out her plans Friday, one day after the joint visit to Maryland. And the exact location of tomorrow's visit is still unclear. In studio, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, Marielle, thank you. We are learning more tonight about that man in Virginia accused of breaking into the local Trump campaign office. Toby Kessler faces multiple charges, including burglary. Now, the Loudoun County Sheriff says that he broke in through the back door of that campaign office there in Ashburn Sunday night. They say it's unclear, though, if Kessler took anything. They're still looking for him, so if you have any information about the incident or where Kessler is, you are urged to call police. In Virginia, the Manassas community is coming together all in search of a missing 28-year-old mother. Mamta Kafli Bhatt was last seen at the end of July, but her husband only reported her missing last week. Tonight, we are hearing from her husband for the very first time. DC News Now's Randy Bass has the latest as family and friends, they continue to search at a local park.
Right now, concern and frustration are growing here at Manassas Park as detectives in this case are sharing very few details about where things stand 2 weeks into this investigation. We heard from friends today who tell us police were first called about her disappearance several days after she didn't show up for work back on August 1st and 2nd. Last heard from or seen on July 31st. We heard from her husband today for the first time since this all happened. He's begging the community for help.
I need your help in a all positive way. Just keep doing what you are doing, and then in a positive way, just help us in this tough time.
Her husband, Naresh Bhatt, pleading for help from the community this afternoon, alongside leaders and friends gathering at the police department to raise awareness for Mamta Kafli Bhatt's case. And along the nearby Blooms Park Trail this morning,
this park used to be her favorite spot.
Tracing the path, Mamta Kafli Bhatt enjoys walking along with her 11-month-old. Neighbors and friends growing desperate in their search for clues and answers as to where she's been the last 2 weeks. Her friend, Sammy Chowdhury, helping to get a group together to go looking and hang up flyers today.
If anything happened to her, I want her to get justice because I don't think anybody should go through this. There is person missing,
Friends say the missing mom's family is halfway around the globe in Nepal. Strangers heard about her story and showed up to help in the search today.
I know, as a mom, if this was my girls and they were in another country, I couldn't imagine, relying on other people.
Hoping that by keeping her name and photo out there, someone will come forward with answers.
As a community friend or, neighbors, we should be there for each other.
More friends we talked to today say she's left home for several days at a time before, always telling friends and family where she's going, where she'll be, but she's never left for this long and certainly wouldn't leave for this long without telling people where she was going. We also heard from friends who say they've come forward to the police for questioning and interviews. Police also say they have talked with and followed up with her husband since that initial report was made earlier this month. In Manassas Park, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Thanks for that update, Randy. Let's turn our attention to the weather now. We're taking a live look outside at the Washington Monument. A beautiful night, and it was another beautiful day in the region. Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb is here, and it's another day where I'm like, fine, let's rinse and repeat and keep going.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of a haze this afternoon just because we had wildfire smoke coming in from Canada. Really, that's going to start to lift more towards the north tomorrow as well. So we'll have lingering impacts in the center layer of the atmosphere, and that's what's allowing for a little bit of an air quality concern for tonight. You can't pick up that haze on composite radar, and so it does look like we have clear skies, but it is quite smoky out there currently. That high pressure we've talked about is out towards Roanoke, parts of Richmond. It will make its way and slide into D.C. by tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures in the 60s and upper 70s. We're a little bit warmer for the suburbs of D.C. into Anne Arundel County, sitting at 78 to 76 degrees with dew points. They're starting to track upwards. We have a warm front to our west, Luray, Culpeper, Fauquier County into Rappahannock into the 60s, and so that's that warmer air trying to pump back in. Tomorrow is a very nice day, more sunshine on the table. There's a difference though. Tomorrow you have highs in many spots that are going to reach 90 degrees. I have more of that forecast coming up.
All right, Janessa, thank you. Over in Virginia, several retired sheriff's deputies, they are back on the job in Alexandria. This as the department is really struggling with staffing concerns at the jail as well as the courthouse. DC News Now's Max Marcilla joins us live from the Alexandria Citrus Circuit Court, that is. And Max, you spoke with the sheriff earlier. What's the reason behind the shortage here?
Well, Susan, he didn't say one specific reason, at least he couldn't pin one down. He did give a couple of potential reasons, one of which he says is the great resignation trend that we've seen both here in the region and across the country. Without one specific reason, he says looking at retired deputies, bringing them back is a way to help. Alexandria Sheriff Sean Casey walking out of the courthouse with a colleague, Deputy George Gray, who not long ago was retired and thinking of the beach.
I came up here one day to visit my buddies at the courthouse, and a week later I got a call from one of my friends also that worked over the police department, and basically I came back to work.
Gray's 2019 retirement only temporary. After 23 and a half years as a deputy, he's now back inside this building 3 days a week, protecting and helping those who walk through these courthouse doors.
You just miss them, you know, after a while.
Beyond the desire to get back to work, Gray was needed because the department is struggling to fill positions. According to Sheriff Casey, 22 of the 169 sworn positions are vacant, 4 of them here at the courthouse.
You have victims in the courtroom where it's very emotional for them. You have a defendant, it's very emotional for them. You know, so it's something that we have to be aware of and conscious of, is to control those emotions immediately when we see them.
Casey says his deputies' work can prevent violence in the courtroom, but also inside the city's jail, where they also patrol. Among the reasons why these two believe staffing problems persist, law enforcement's reputation and salaries.
We're just not as popular as we used to be because of a few bad eggs.
And we understand the tax base is strapped, right? So we have to look at other innovative ways to compensate folks.
Now here in Alexandria, the starting salary for a deputy, about $60,000, a little bit higher with a $10,000 bonus if they have a Virginia jail certification. Sheriff Casey says it's a decent salary, but tough because of how expensive it is to live here in the city. Meanwhile, we asked Casey if he's confident that those innovative compensation strategies can happen, and he says that his office will collaborate with the city, and he believes they can be. Reporting live in Alexandria, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Right, trying everything to tackle that problem. Max, thank you. The former director of the DC Housing Authority is suing the agency and a council member. Brenda Donald resigned as director last year, and she is facing She was, though, facing harsh criticism over her performance and pay, including more than $40,000 in a bonus that the agency's board awarded her. Now, Donald says that she faced retaliation as well as hate messages when council member Robert White pressed her for answers about that bonus, questions that she says she could not legally answer because of a confidentiality clause in her contract. She is now suing the city for damages. The first day of the Arlington County Fair in Virginia is wrapping up soon. It is one of the largest free events in the East Coast. And let's take a live look out there. Plenty of people out looking like they're having a great time, a beautiful night for it. This is Thomas Jefferson Community Center. Now, if you are headed down to the fair, you're going to be able to check out live performances, food, a pizza eating contest, and of course, some of those rides, as you can see there. This is a 4-day full of fun. The fair is free to go, but you will have to pay for all of those rides and the food that you eat.